Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds? Welcome to another heart-throbbing episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 306, recorded on Thursday, February 11th, 2021. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the classic My Bloody Valentine from 1981. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy Randy Gandy G. Landy. What's up?
What's up? How's it going?
Hey. My little heartbreaker. How you doing? Breaking
You know,
hearts out there.
Yeah, let's go with that. I'm gonna yes and that particular riff, even though I have no idea what to say about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, shit's pretty red and pink around here. You know, I've been to CVS.
Are you not cooking your meat long enough? Like, what's going on?
Please, Rob, let's not talk about my meat.
If
not
you
important.
insist. Last but not least, calling in from Jacksonville, Florida, we got our boy Soju. What's up, man?
What up? It's your boy Heartthrob Stains. Rob stole it for his intro, and I didn't come out with anything quick enough to change it. God damn you, Bob.
Blood spurt stains?
No. What?
Little blood squirt stain.
Blood squirt.
They call me little blood squirt stains.
Cool.
Shit's
Chocolate stains? Come on.
Shit's my kryptonite. Oh my god.
The chocolate stains. That's code for something else. That's a dirty brown situation.
Strawberry stains. Chocolate covered strawberry stains. There you go.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. That's sensual. Sure.
I'll let you guys handle the intros from now on for stains.
I don't think that's a great idea.
You guys seem to
We
have
should-
it on lock.
We should just launch right past the intros from now on. That's my pitch.
Let's linger. I like champagne stains and strawberry juice.
Champagne stains is pretty good.
Champagne
You want me to do it again? You want to do a new take?
Champagne stains and screaming and creaming dreams.
Screaming dreams. Well, before we get into the main event, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Here's another reminder. If you support us at the $5 level or above over on our Patreon website, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're going to be talking about this March. We got our March poll pick up. The theme for March is adult animated horror movies. And the 3 movies you get to vote between are Akira, Forbidden Planet, and Wicked City.
Bob?
Juice.
How those numbers looking so far? Middle of February.
They're looking romantic.
Yeah. Are they looking adult?
Yes.
Triple X adult style? That's what we're talking, right?
I don't know. Time will tell. I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, neither have I, actually.
Wicked City is still ahead, but there are many days left in the month of February.
Okay.
Make sure you get your votes in for the end of February, and we'll see who the victor is. Also, actually, that's really all we got going on Patreon. If you are hearing this in your ear holes right now, and you happen to be a fan of My Bloody Valentine, why don't you go ahead and pop on over to Let's Get Physical Media, where you get all your podcasts, and slam our commentary track for My Bloody Valentine into your ears as well. That should be available on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, all that.
Wherever you get your pod caught.
Yeah, wherever you catch your pods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, big thanks to everybody that hung out with us this past Friday. We watched Joe Bob's The Last Drive-In. He did yet another double feature. It was Valentine's Day themed. Since we are obviously recording this before Friday, I don't know what movies he's showing, so can't really talk about it.
This is all lies.
It's all lies, but still.
Thank you, no one that showed up.
Thanks.
Hashtag Rob is deep state.
Yep, I am. Deep fake Bob. That's me. But yeah, Joe Bob, I'm sure it'll be a good time because it always is. That's really all we got regarding housekeeping. I believe this house is clean.
This house is clean.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
This week on GargantuaCast, host Chris McDonald and Cole Grisson take on the show's most requested film to date, Shin Godzilla. Together, they are joined by indie filmmaker and Shin Godzilla production assistant Yoko Higuchi as they dissect the film's political themes, impact on Japanese pop culture, and Yoko's own personal stories working on the film. You can find GargantuaCast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
Right on. Slam some GargantuaCast into your ear holes, everybody. And without further ado, let's get into the main event. We're talking about My Bloody Valentine, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
All right, Bob.
Yo.
So I am here to enforce this.
Oh, wow.
For you to actually read the back of the box. So I'm happy I'm here because this has really upgraded this segment. But tonight,
yes.
You are happy. You are
but
happy.
hang on, tonight we have a very special back of the box.
Uh-huh.
For the YouTube behind the scenes exclusive. Bob, let's go ahead and show these to the camera.
Okay.
There are two boxes here. One of them does not belong to me. They both belong to Bob. Rob let me borrow one since he has two for me to watch.
Sure.
Bob got a new steel case.
Steelbook.
That's the thing
It is.
that he got. Okay, so that was
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it must be an upgrade. So I'm curious.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do a little experiment. We have two boxes here.
Okay.
I want us to start to read the blurb on the back of the box at the same time. I'm curious if yours is better since it is a steelbook.
You want to
All
read
right.
them at the same time?
Well, I just want to see which one. I just
trying
want
to see if they're different.
yeah. I
You know,
wanna see
not
if they're
everything is
diff-
peanut butter and chocolate, dude.
I just want to see if they're different. All right, we'll read the first sentence.
Okay, you got to
Bob.
stare into each other's eyes as you
All
do
right.
it too.
At the same time. We're
The
doing
Yes,
small
at the,
white
you're
text,
doing everything
Bob.
else at the
So you're
same
starting
time.
Here.
Yeah,
Okay.
ready?
All right. Yeah.
On three.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
On
On Valentine's Day, someone always loses their heart. Oh my God, they're the same. Oh.
Wow. Wow.
All right,
no,
Bob. I'll let you finish up.
They are not the same. The Steelbook has new art. Also, it's got an additional like 6 or so interviews that aren't included on the disc that they put out last year, that Screen Factory put out last year. Those are the main additions, though. Other than that, it is pretty much the same release.
I
Plot
fear we've
synopsis.
given Justin way too much power
I agree.
over all segments.
I completely agree. The back of the box says, on Valentine's Day, someone always loses their heart. 20 years ago, this small town lost more than that when a tragedy claimed the lives of 5 miners. Now, the town is gearing up for another Valentine's Day. But when a box of candy containing an eerie warning and a blood-soaked heart arrive, the townsfolk realize that romance is as good as dead, and so are they. Gentlemen, had you seen this movie before, and would you recommend people check it out? Randy?
Yeah, I had seen this movie once prior. It might have been with you, Bob. My memory of it is very, very hazy, and I think it might have been in college, and I think there was a lot of alcohol involved. So regardless, this may as well be my first time watching. The only thing I remember about the first time around was that it didn't leave much of an impact on me. And I would say that this movie fits in nicely with, you know, the slew of 70s, 80s post-Halloween slasher crazes. And so if you're into that sort of thing, you know, you'll be right at home with this. Otherwise, not a particularly strong recommend from me.
All right. Juice, how you feel?
I had never seen this before, and honestly, going into it, I was pretty meh about watching it. I wasn't dreading it or anything, but I wasn't super excited. But I will say, and I'll get into this more in my review, this film earned my respect. There's a lot of things that I was pleased about with this film. And again, you know, kind of echoing Randy, if you are into like 80s slashers, then this is totally going to be fun for you, I think. So I would recommend for that. And, you know, Valentine's spooky stuff. There's not a whole lot of it out there. So if you've never seen this one before, go ahead and knock this kind of Valentine's Day classic or staple, I guess, out. But yeah,
Ooh, that sounds like a hot Friday night.
Yeah, it does. So yes, I would recommend. Bob,
Yo.
you suggested we watch this. Had you seen it before?
Yeah, I'd seen this movie a handful of times before. And it's one that I would definitely recommend people check out. If, ever since Halloween came out in the late 70s, there's been this like slew of slasher movies that have to be associated with some sort of holiday. And My Bloody Valentine was definitely trying to cash in on Halloween's success and Friday the 13th's success. So this definitely came from that. And if you are a fan of that sort of thing, then you'll dig this for sure. I think this movie is pretty great as far as slashers go. But if you're just not into slashers, then you won't dig it. But yeah, like Drew said, there's like only a couple Valentine's Day themed horror movies. There's like this, the remake of this, and Valentine. I don't really know of any other ones. So if you're trying to watch,
There are
something
others.
spooky, then this is a good
I
start.
can't remember what
think.
they are.
Yeah.
I went rummaging around to see what other ones exist, and I think there are a handful of others, but this is by far the biggest profile of the bunch in terms of Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of this, and I recommend it for sure. So yeah, decent recommend from the Straight Chilling crew. Let's drop.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's drop that spoiler warning and get into the rest of the movie. Here we go.
Spoiler warning.
All right. I do have a plot synopsis typed up, if you'll indulge me.
All right, Rob, you're on the clock. Let's go.
It's not too long. All right. This movie takes place in the small mining town of Valentine Bluffs, where they have an annual Valentine's Day dance. 20 years ago, 2 supervisors left their post monitoring methane gas levels for 5 miners working down below. The methane builds up and eventually ignites, burying the miners. The sole survivor of the accident, Harry Warden, only survived because he ate the other miners. Harry was then admitted to a psych ward and escapes a year later on Valentine's Day to return to Valentine Bluffs and murder the 2 supervisors that abandoned him and his coworkers. Harry also left a warning that if they ever had a Valentine's Day dance again, he would return. 20 years pass with no dance and no murders. However, this year, Mayor Henniger announces the dance is back on and bodies begin piling up. TJ Henniger, the mayor's son, has just returned home from the West Coast. He's reluctantly working in the mines with several of his friends. His old girlfriend that he left behind, Sarah, is now dating his buddy Axel, which causes some tension between the 3 of them. After the mayor receives a heart-shaped box with an actual human heart in it, he cancels the dance. The kids, however, plan a party of their own. During their celebration, several of the kids are killed by a man wearing a mining mask and some mining gear with a pickaxe. A few of the kids decide to take the party down to the mine. The murders continue until Sarah eventually removes the killer's mask, revealing Axel to be the killer. We see a flashback of Axel hiding underneath his bed as a child, while Harry Warden murders his father, who was one of the supervisors from 20 years prior. Axel's then buried under a pile of rocks. When the mine caves in, the townsfolk try and dig him out. They eventually uncover his arm, which is caught under a rock. He cuts his arm off and runs into the mines, babbling about how his daddy has gone away and Harry Warden has made them all pay. That's the end of the flick. Let's talk about this thing.
If we must.
Real quick, thanks to Bob's Blue Library, the blueberry.
Sure.
The disc I watched said uncut version on it. Are you guys aware? But it had a theatrical cut as well. I chose the uncut one. Do you guys know which one you watched? I don't know what the difference is.
Yeah, there is.
Sure, I watched on Prime, so I didn't really notice.
Okay.
I want to say there's a 90-minute cut and a 93-minute cut.
Oh, okay.
Primarily, Yeah, primarily the difference is gore. Like so the MPAA back in 1981 cut it's somewhere between like 5 to 9 minutes of footage out of this, and at least half of that was like straight gore scenes.
Oh,
So
okay.
Screen Factory added a lot of that back in, and if you
Interesting.
while you were watching
European
it,
style.
Juice, you'll notice like during some of the kill sequences, the quality of the footage drops significantly. That's because they had to like use some film cells that were like degrading and had been neglected for several years, but they tried to make it as whole as possible.
Actually didn't particularly notice,
Really?
but
Okay.
a lot of my favorite parts and things that we're going to praise about this was like the gore and the kills and some of the effects that they used. So if that's the case, then the uncut version was definitely like made it shine for me, I guess, if that's the case.
Okay. I agree. They linger on a lot of the practical effects and the gore in this, and a lot of the kills are pretty like inventive, I think.
Yeah.
I think this
Some
movie,
of them are, yeah.
I think this movie, well, yeah, I guess not all of them. This movie in general is fairly inventive, I think. You know, obviously like cribbing off of like slashers that came before it. But for them to like take like a Valentine's Day themed horror movie and create what they did out of it, like it's not just a random town in which it happens to be Valentine's Day. It's like this whole town is like about fucking Valentine's Day. Due to the name, primarily.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
because the whole thing is that they're the
one.
opposite for like 20 years, right? And then they're kind of blowing it out because they're reintroducing the concept, right?
Yeah, but they like, you know, what town has like a big Valentine's Day dance? You know, it's obviously
a town called Valentine. I'm shocked that, you know,
That's what I'm like. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah,
the town is like very much about the holiday until people get
at
murdered,
least this particular year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I say that is because like it was like 20 years prior, right? Something like that, maybe 30.
Yeah, but they did
years.
say before that they had held the dance for like 100 years.
Yeah.
It was like 100 years, which sounds kind of crazy. But I actually, honestly, one of the weakest parts to me about this film is its connection to Valentine's Day. I actually thought that was pretty weak. In the way that like if you could literally say this is a St. Patrick's Day party, or you could literally say that this has nothing particularly to do with love, I guess, or the theme of Valentine's Day. They literally just slapped this is a Valentine's Day party, and that's when it happened. And even the connection of like he slaughtered everybody and because they went to the Valentine's Day party, but his revenge was on like, it's more connected with the idea of like a small mining town, I guess. And the Valentine's part just seems like inconsequential. Like, I don't know.
See,
like,
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to
Yeah.
disagree with you to some extent. Like, I agree that it's not like fully realized the theming in terms of like craft of the filmmaking. But the whole story hinges around young people flirting and love triangling and trying to fuck each other, and one being a virgin and the other wanting to fuck. Like it's all about that. And then like in terms of the like physical, like or the visual stuff, like all the paper hearts or whatever, I can kind of forgive to some extent that it's not as thematic as say like Silent Night, Deadly Night, because that's a movie based on Christmas time. And Christmas as a construct in our minds, like just takes up so much more space. There's so much more associated with Christmas than there is with Valentine's Day or most holidays. You know what I mean? Like in the cultural consciousness. So they're drawing off of a comparatively limited amount of things. But then you go back and look at like a movie like Halloween, and you've got a guy in a mask, sure, and it's on Halloween night, sure. But you could say the same thing, that it's more about the babysitters than it is about Halloween, the same way that you're saying this is more about miners than it is about, or mining town than it is about Valentine's Day. It's like, to me, like
at least with, I guess, with like to compare it to Halloween. So the fact that he's wearing a mask is because it's Halloween, though. So that kind of like motivates the character in a way. The reason he's able to get away with it, get around, walk around town, is because it's Halloween, so it's masked as that. And it was a good point for you to mention, like, yeah, the whole motivation of all the characters that we see is to hook up and fuck and shit like that. And that's a good point. And I guess maybe if they had So there's like a bit of a red herring here. And I think that that's part of maybe the mix up is like through 95% of this movie, I'm thinking that the motivations of our killer are revenge based. Like, oh, like you threw a Valentine's party and it killed my friend, so don't throw a Valentine's Day party. I'm like, that could literally be anything. It's really more about revenge. However, at the very end, we get the whole swap of like, no, it was the guy, the like Axel,
Taking revenge.
But yeah, in a way, and see if they had made it more about the fact that he like based on the idea of love, like he is in this love triangle, and maybe that's what drives him to it, not necessarily like like I thought it was like pretty bullshit and pretty weak. The like 5-second clip of them showing him like hiding under the bed where it was like, oh, I saw my dad get murdered or whatever. It's like, that's bullshit.
That was supposed to be longer, but it was cut.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say, if they had hinged it on like he was like angry that his girlfriend was getting stolen and he used that as a ruse to like wreak havoc, then that makes it more thematically appropriate.
I agree with that totally. And the thing about that is that the way that this movie is set up, that's the thing that it cribs off of other other slashers of the time, not just even necessarily like holiday horror slashers, but like just that the thing that people did back in those days was they cribbed from Psycho, which had a guy who killed a bunch of people because he was crazy, and they can explain that crazy away or like make these really intricate, like not really intricate, but make these intricate and unlikely and unrealistic setups in order to justify that. They did that with fucking Silent Night, Deadly Night, and it's one of the funniest things about it to me. So yeah, they're definitely doing that, and that's to me a part of the legacy of this kind of movie from the era it's from. And I don't, I don't particularly like it as much in this movie because for whatever, like I don't buy. It's so sudden. Like in Silent Night, Deadly Night, the whole movie is him watching him edge closer and closer to that cliff. So there's an element of suspense to it, even if it's funny and silly. But in this movie, it's just very much a Deus Ex Machina sort of like last minute swap. And, to me, like I was expecting it to be either TJ or Axel the whole time. I was like, I don't think they're going to go the Michael Myers route. They have shown nothing about this guy. There's no reason to be afraid, like that we should be afraid, except that they lost track of him. That's literally the only thing that's gone on with this guy. What's his name? Harry Warden. Yeah, which is also like they also once again pulled like a very standard name out of the woodwork to try and make him scary. And they tried to do this thing where he's Jason Voorhees, or he's trying to keep people from doing X. In Jason's case, it's going to camp. In Harry's case, it's having Valentine's Day festivities because he relates it to him being caved in as a result of two guys wanting to go get their dick wet. So like, I don't know. To me, it's just it's a little bit too cribby for my tastes. And sometimes that can be okay if the movie's like interesting or funny enough around it. But I didn't get that sense from this. So to me, like the fact that it all like just kind of like tows you along and drags you along on this very obvious ruse of a lie that is Harry Warden is back, and they keep pushing it so hard. I was like, there's no way it's not TJ or Axel. And the whole time they're in the mines at the end of this movie, I'm trying to parse which one it is based on who's where at any given time. Mm-hmm. And the thing they did well in that case, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, because they're clearly trying to make you think it's Harry Warden, is I had a hard time parsing which one it was as I was actively trying to parse which one. And so I don't know if that's a result of just bad continuity keeping on their part, or if it's concealing, like doing a good job concealing that there's a killer in their midst that they know.
Well, and what I mean? I agree with you. I was like of the mind of like, yeah, it's one of these guys. And I thought, because there were two moments toward the end where they're getting ready for it, and I was like, here it comes, where Axel, you don't see either situation happen. One situation, the first thing that happens is Axel disappears off stage, and it looks like he drowned in the mine or whatever. There was like, I don't know why there's a bunch of water down there, but there was. So you think like, oh, you see his light and you see bubbles coming up. Oh, he drowned. There's nothing we can do to help him. Then TJ goes down a mine thing. It sounds like there's like a cave in or something. Oh my God, the rocks fell. And he gets, so I actually thought, because this was kind of part of the time back in the day too, that there might be 2 endings. I thought maybe they just shot it both ways.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, am I going to get one in like this uncut version and like I can check out what the other one was? But I don't think that's the case. But I thought that's what they were kind of setting up, that, oh,
that's what
we
could have
go
happened.
either way. Yeah.
The clue with it. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
that's done in so many movies as to be expected. You know what I mean? So I see what your point is, but yeah, they definitely could have done both, and that's kind of like what I meant. But like they kind of concealed their tracks relatively well. Whether it was on purpose or not is up for debate, and I don't know. But to me, it was like this guy Axel was probably going to be it just because of his position in the story. They're in a love triangle, so and this is a movie centered around Valentine's Day, a slasher. So this guy has a motivation, like you said, a sexual motivation, and we only find out about like the psychosis element, which to me muddied the waters of what this motivation could have been. But I don't know. To me, it was fun to try and parse those things, but that was the main spark of interest for me towards the end of the movie, because they spent a lot of time down in that mine, and a lot of people are changing groups, and groups are swapping up, and people are running into each other, and people are getting lost, shit like that. I even thought that maybe that goofball Jordy or whatever his name was, I thought maybe
Howard?
they would do a sort Howard, whatever it was, the guy who's always spooking people. I thought maybe they would do a swerve and make him the guy, but no, it was Axel, because like story-wise, he's positioned to be that killer if you're gonna have one of these like classic 80s slasher, who's the crazy one in their midst that's doing this sort of things.
Which is kind of fucked up, because he's the one who gets screwed.
I know. He's the one who's like out of like actually like he's not but Sarah apparently is just in love with 2 pieces of shit is my my read on the situation.
She's in love with taste in men.
Dude, this dude TJ left town without saying anything to anybody to go to the West Coast, and for undisclosed reasons, supposedly to make it, but we don't know what it is that he's trying to make. And he's like, I got it real hard out there. Yeah, and he comes back and starts working at the mines again, and Axel's just like, well, I'm dating Sarah now, and I'm not going to give you my permission to go after her. You understand that? And he's like, fine, I guess we got a problem, huh? It's like,
when they have this heart, it's like a very bizarre scene that I enjoy. Like so all the miners are just like hanging out in the junkyard, like late at night, eating hot dogs and drinking beer or whatever. And like TJ busts out a harmonica and starts playing it. And Axel apparently also has one. He starts playing it, and they play this like harmonica duet that's bizarre
for like 2 seconds.
And then they have this like heart to heart about Sarah, how like they're both not gonna like give in or whatever. And it's like, okay, so there's a weird love triangle. And it's like very apparent that Sarah, like as soon as TJ rolls back in town, she's like into it, but like it's kind of like playing hard to get a little bit. Like he has to force her into his car and like take her out to the bluff, which is a really uncomfortable scene. Like, I don't know why she would be into either of these people. TJ, like the first half of this movie, is just like a whiny child. He's just throwing a temper tantrum the whole first half of this movie. Not a good look, my dude.
Dude, yeah, and he like there's a lot of predatory behavior from both him and Axel to some extent, because I can't remember what it is, but Axel at some point's like trying to make out with her or something.
Well, the first one I think we saw was
there another one?
They were all hanging out at the pub or whatever, and she's going to play on the jukebox. She's going to play a tune, and he's like, "Where are you going?" And she's like, "I just like want to go play some music. Is that okay?" Like, so it makes it seem like he's really possessive. He's obviously very insecure about TJ. He's always got like his eye on him and stuff, and he's always just very like suspect.
In fairness,
about it, but
though,
he's very
she goes over there to talk to him. Like, in fairness, he's absolutely dead on about her intentions. But that said, like the thing about all this that really kind of like spoils the batch for me a little bit is that, like we were talking about earlier, like none of this factors into the conclusion in the way that you expect. Like, not really, at least not spoken anyway at all. The love triangle thing really doesn't factor into why all these people are murdered, and yet it's the central focus of a majority of this movie.
Yeah, the ending is a little bit like, ta-da, here's the end. But also, I usually don't watch a slasher movie for like airtight logic or like an
I
amazing
understand that,
plot. I don't. It's
and people love. It's fun to watch somebody be kooky, insane, wild, or whatever. But we didn't get enough of that nor was it quality enough for me to be that interested. Like him running away at the end and being like fucking Daffy Duck and all that shit. No, thank you. You know, you can't go
Yeah,
from
it
like
didn't
you can't go
match
from Rust Belt
anything.
badass to that in an instant and expect me
Yeah.
to be like cool.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
That's fine.
One thing I thought this film did actually, one thing that I said like, oh, it really earned my respect. There's a couple different things from the slasher standpoint. With the uncut version, at least, the kills, surprisingly, for a dude who carries around a pickaxe, were pretty cool, pretty damn cool. Actually, I enjoyed almost all of the kills in this. I thought they were really creative and looked really well from the practical effects standpoint. But also, I thought they did a really good job of capturing this small town, small mining town feel. Like everything about kind of like what people were doing and where they were and how they interacted with each other felt really authentic to me, even though like it's got that kind of 80s acting where it's, you know, I'm not like falling into this story where I'm just like everything's believable, but like the feels of like them hanging out in the junkyard and what do they do for fun? Like they just play this knife game or the kind of shit that they give each other. That felt authentic, or at least like interesting to me, because I was like, I don't know anything about this world, but I feel like it's legit. Like this feels legit.
The director went to great lengths to make that happen. So this was actually filmed in a small mining town, like on location in a small mining town in Nova Scotia. And like you're really going down an actual mine.
I heard some
like
Canada in there.
It's all real. Yeah. There's definitely some thick Canadian accents happening.
There was a boot I heard in there.
What are you talking about?
He also interviewed a lot of the locals who were miners and like asked them what they did when they were off work. And they told him like, yeah, we go hang out in the junkyard and get fucked up. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to put that in the movie. So like he really did base it on real fucking miners in the 80s.
It's The Wire of the 80s.
Yeah.
It's very much like they do get the blue collar tone really, really right. And and not even just that, like, but like some of the acting in this, like you guys said, it's not all perfect or anything like that, but it feels very lived in a way. You know what I mean? Like the town and the way that people act towards each other. Like these are people that know each other and see each other every single day. They do the same. Like these are people that run through routines a lot of the time. And the only thing that's changed for TJ now that he's come back is that his girlfriend, he's now in a love triangle because he fucked up. So like this is a town that doesn't change for anything. The only other major change is they're bringing back the Valentine's Day thing. So Valentine's Day dance. So I mean, I like that aspect as well. It does feel pretty authentic, but again, like it's that thing where, you know, they haven't had this all leading to the conclusion that, you know, this guy isn't crazy because his dad was killed in front of him in a like 3-second shot that we get. That's all the answers. Meanwhile, we watch this love triangle play out. So, but that was all incidental to the fact that the Valentine's Day dance was happening again, I guess. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like it just all that seems very incidental, and like that lack of resolution just sticks in my craw. But I don't want to harp on that anymore. I know I've been talking about that the entire time.
Can we circle back to some of the kills, because there's a lot that
Yeah.
I want to highlight.
Yeah. They're all unique amongst themselves, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
Like there's not like two axes or pickaxes in the gut or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's the movie opens up with kind of a bizarre sequence where these two people are down in the mine wearing like full mining gear with a mask and the respirator and all that.
That was pretty cool.
And the lady takes her mask off, but the dude keeps his on, and he takes his pickaxe and like slams it in the wall behind her and then pushes her onto the pickaxe. But like leading up to that, she's like stroking the respirator because it's sort of phallic. It's like a very strange sexual scene. I don't know, it's an interesting way to start the movie off. Also, on that note, this movie has no nudity. So that's kind of like a rare thing for a slasher movie.
Especially for one as focused on fucking like this.
Yeah.
Like this movie's all about fucking.
One of the there's a few standout kills. I think the next major one that I can recall is the laundromat kill.
Yeah.
The lady
that was my favorite one for sure.
Yeah.
Mabel, I think her name was,
Mabel.
or Hazel, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's Mabel.
Yeah. Yeah, when she's her crisped up skin or whatever, that was a great effect, and they showed it just the perfect amount of time to let your imagination fill in the gaps. I loved that. That was
and
great.
the way she fell out of like the dryer and she's like rotating, I was like, that's horrific.
Yeah.
And then also we didn't get a lot of time with her, But when that guy gets her chocolates and it said like, "Will you be my Valentine, Mabel?" I was like, man, that
That's
actually
sad. Yeah.
That was
kind
sad,
of
right?
like pulled, man. I was like, wow, that, because she was a nice lady who was older, and you could tell, like, I don't know, she's just kind of like the town momish, like to these kids, they're helping her like set up the party or whatever. And then yeah, she gets like brutally fucking murdered, and you watch it like to a T, and then yeah, you get that chocolate scene, man. That was effective. They did a good job with that.
It was effective because, to me, like, it was primarily effective because I liked that lady, and it was because, again, like, she was this person that felt authentic and lived in. She was not like, she did nothing wrong, which is another thing that this movie does that I'm conflicted on, I guess, a little bit. A lot of these victims are either completely senseless victims, whereas in other movies they would have some sort of transgression to give you a catharsis by watching them die.
I'll defend it
You know
in
what I
that
mean?
way. I think you're wrong on that, Cal, because like I don't like that direction, but the direction that they chose is this guy is actually avenging the promise of the original killer that if you throw this Valentine's Day party, you're gonna fucking die. And she is like the one who is like ringleader of like
She's the
hosting
committee, yeah.
and putting. So if you're following that logic, then she would be one of the first ones to get killed.
You're right, but that's within the text of the movie. I'm talking about things like the Scream rules, right? If you can't, if you're a virgin, you can't die, you can't have sex and expect to live.
Yeah.
Those were set forth at this time by movies like Halloween, by movies like Friday the 13th, things like that. You know, it's those sort of like moralizing rules that are absent in that, which is both good and bad. I guess I haven't really come to a conclusion as to whether or not I like that, but it's just something I noticed.
Yeah. There's some other really quality kills. Another one that stands out is the bartender, who's a pretty great character. I think he's sort of like what we would call the quote camp blood character of this movie.
Oh yeah.
Where the kids are sort of like laughing about this myth of Harry Warden and not taking it very seriously, and he's like, "Oh, you fucking kids, you're gonna get your ass skin raw. He's gonna come."
His name is
you.
Happy, because if you name your character Happy in one of these movies, it's guaranteed that he's a miserable fuck.
You're not happy. Yeah. I love what he does though, because he's sick of these kids shit, and he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to the mine and I'm gonna set up this like booby trap and scare the shit out of him. So he like gets this stuffed miner and like puts him in a closet and like has it rigged up to where when you open up the door, like a pickaxe swings out at you. And he rigs it up and he tests it a few times and it works. And then he opens it one final time. And of course, there's the real killer. And he gets pickaxe up through the jaw and pokes his eyeball out of his face. Fucking great. Great.
Was that did you guys both watch the unrated version?
Uncut,
I don't know that I got that.
Yeah.
Uncut, yeah. That's what
You didn't get the
Sorry,
eye?
I went to the. No, I don't remember an eye popping.
Okay,
so
that was
might
an
have been-
effective. Like the pick was sticking out, and like the eye was hanging still, like from the threads, but like down on the cheek, and it was like sticking. It was.
Yeah, I definitely missed that. Okay.
Yeah, that was.
You
good.
must have watched the edited cut.
Yeah.
Must have. Shame. Yeah, because I liked that setup, but the kill itself was thematically good, but I didn't get a visceral feeling from it. That might have pushed it over for me.
Another one of my favorite kills, and it kind of goes back to the same idea as with the older late Mabel, when she's all crisped up and then like you actually feel for it. It was a cool kill, and it made me feel like kind of the same way. Was the bigger guy with the mustache.
Hollis.
Yeah, so just
Pringles
like through the movie, he was just kind of my favorite. He just seemed like the
too,
most
man.
authentic guy. He like
I'll tell you why.
Loved his girlfriend. Why?
He looked like Bob.
Yeah, he kind of does a little bit.
He had the Pringles stash going. He had he had Bob in high school haircut. Like he had the whole shebang. He was just a little rounder and a little more competent, if I do say so myself.
Well, thank you, Randy.
Well, he just was like the best kind of guy too. He was always breaking out the fights.
Jovial.
He didn't have any kind of like
Loving
drama
kinda
with
guy.
his girlfriend. Yeah, he treated her.
His
It's
girlfriend
also-
loved him. He was a good person.
Yeah.
It's also kind of refreshing to see like one of the leads in a movie who's like, you know, courageous and like has a cute girlfriend and everything, be like a bigger guy. It's not.
Yeah, I
true.
agree,
He just
dude.
seemed like a regular dude. Yeah.
Every other 80s slasher at this time would have definitely made that his whole character, him eating a chocolate bar every scene or some shit.
True. Yeah.
Or being
Comedic
the
relief.
Eugene or whatever from Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah.
Like trying to I don't know why people don't like me, that sort of thing. Like, thank God they didn't do that.
That
with this
dude's
character.
a lawyer now in real life.
No, yeah,
I mean,
he was just
he's
got
got to be a better lawyer
than
than he was a fat kid in a Friday the 13th movie.
But his kill is the killer like has this gun. It kind of reminded me of like No Country for Old Men, but it's like this nail gun essentially.
I instantly thought that, yeah.
Yeah. And he puts it up to his temple and shoots it, and it doesn't kill him right away, but it like shows his perspective, and it's kind of like a realistic perspective where he got shot in the side of the temple with a nail. There's not like a bullet going through your brain, but his vision starts to go, and he's like definitely going into shock. And the guy has time to like take time to reload it again and shoot him like in the forehead, and it still doesn't kill him. He has time to like wander back to his girlfriend, who of course freaks the fuck out. And that was authentic too. Like her going into shock, them having to drag her, and her like being like, I can't leave his body and shit. Like, I was like, damn, this for like what you assume is going to be like this throwaway slasher. They're able to build moments like that are brutal and feel authentic. And like, if you saw your best friend die, like that's what you would think. Like, holy shit, I can't fucking leave their body here. Like, it just, so much about this felt authentic and not like a movie.
There were only like it was people's reactions to each other, which is great because that's the bulk of the film, right? Like these people playing off each other as things are happening around them or as they're trying to pull shit, you know. So to me, I agree with you on that, and especially Hollis's girlfriend and Mabel and the sheriff. Those four characters. Those four actors, I don't know if it was the writing that pushed them over for me, or their performance, or a combination of both. I'm assuming it was a combination of both, but they all felt really authentic, like you said, and they felt like her reaction of freaking out and not wanting to leave her dead boyfriend down in this mine felt real, even though there was like danger coming. Like I don't know. I was also like, shit, is the guy right behind him, because he was stumbling out with nails in his fucking skull. You got to think that if a guy was chasing him, he would be right on his ass and be able to take out these two girls, no problem. So, I mean, I had some tension based out of some of this direction as well. And her like being freaked out played into that tension as much as it played to the heartstring, which is perfect. That's perfect. That's how you want it to go, I would imagine.
There's a few more kills that I'd like to mention actually, but the next one, Patty, is a solid kill scene. She's like down in the mine, making out with her boyfriend, and they're like sort of where the miners shower.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they in the mine, or are they just in one of the like? I think they're up top.
They're not in the mine. They're in like a side.
They're in the
like
showers,
workspace.
right?
Yeah, next to it, whatever. But they're like making out. And her dude goes to grab some beers, and then the miners like keep all of their clothes up in the rafters, and they start like dropping around her, and she gets scared and runs into the showers, and then the killer picks her up and like impales her head on one of the shower spigots, and the water like shoots out of her mouth. It's like a pretty gruesome kill scene. They linger on that one.
Do they show her being put on there, like the act of because it didn't for me. Okay, that was another one where all I got was like her being like kind of lifted up, and then when she's discovered in such a way that it's just like 3/4 from the back with some water coming out of her mouth. They don't ever actually show head on what she.
I
looked
think
like
we
with
saw head on with water coming out of her mouth, didn't we? Yeah, that was cool too.
So, damn it, I really fucked up.
Randy,
yeah,
gotta visit.
Could have used those extra 3 minutes.
That's right.
The
blues.
Bob's
fairy.
Blueberry.
I am the blues fairy.
I like to call Bob Snosberry.
Damn.
Bobby Snoz.
So yeah, I think that was kind of like the mouth. Like I liked that kill in concept, but again, it was kind of like I didn't see quite enough for me to get. Yeah. So what a waste for me.
Did you see the dude get his face boiled off in the hot dog flavored water?
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
I saw the dude in the freezer after the fact.
Really? You didn't see his face?
Damn, we saw his face get boiled.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's like hot dogs floating around his face. Like,
yeah.
It's
I was
goofy.
still prepped to be like, good job for the effects and things like that. So I imagine that would only embolden me in that regard. But
pretty ridiculous to see the hot
It took
dogs.
so long for someone
Hot dogs
to find
were
that
in
fucking
his
body
face?
in the freezer.
Yeah, like floating around his face as it's getting boiled off. It's ridiculous.
So I saw his face go into the water. That I did see.
Okay.
But then, like, once he is
But I didn't see him
dead-
emerge.
Well, no, he
No,
doesn't
no, no.
emerge. Once he is dead, they show one more shot from inside the water. His head's still in the water, but it has started to peel and blister and boil.
Okay, yeah, I don't think I got that. I only got him after the fact in the freezer or the
Gotcha.
fridge.
Yeah.
God damn it.
There's one more that I want to mention. The character of Howard, who's like kind of the goofball who keeps scaring people. He goes down in the mines when the kids are getting picked off, and he sort of vanishes. He like runs off because he's terrified, and we don't see him for a while. And the kids they end up climbing up this long fucking ladder, and he sort of like falls down from the top of it and gets like strung up on a cable of some sort, and it hangs him. And he falls like at such a rapid pace that his head pops clean off.
Yeah.
It is brutal. I mean, you just see his body hit the ground.
And his head too.
Yeah.
Like it follows late, like after the body hits.
I'm wondering how much of that was
great,
cut for me too. But yeah,
Oh,
I
man.
enjoyed that. Again, like the concepts of all these deaths are all
Yeah.
very unique from each other, which is like kind of like the cardinal rule for me. Like if you can't be unique with each kill, then what are you even
Yeah.
doing? But you know, on top of that, they're all pretty unique. Like the thing with the coal miner suits falling down. What was her name? Patty.
Yeah.
Haley? What is it? Patty. Okay.
Patty, yeah.
Those things they set that up. They introduce you to the concept by her being like, "What's this?" And he's like, "Pull that rope," and it shows it. And so like it's a pretty clear telegraph what's going to happen. But that said, like the way it plays out, that's such a specific thing that it has to be real. And I appreciate that because in movies like Silent Night, Deadly Night, they'll say, "What's Christmas themed? Stuffed antlers on the wall. We'll use that." Like, you know what I mean? They come up
Yeah.
with a few ideas, they rattle a few off in the writer's room, but this seems like somebody is actually like you said, like he's invested in the actual culture surrounding this location he's chosen to focus his movie on.
I agree,
So-
and that made it interesting. And it added to the authenticity. So a lot of the situations they're in where they were like, let's go down into the mine, and the girls were like, wow, this is where you work. And like watching from a very clear perspective, like I guess I've worked in places similar, and like, yeah, you kind of get that idea of like, yeah, if nobody had ever been there before, they might be like, oh, this is interesting. But I could see like regular dudes working there and how they would hate it, and how like the idea of like riding into the mine when you do it day after day would be miserable. But when there's girls with it, you're like, yeah, okay, I'll take it. Like it just, I don't know. I liked even those situations like where the couple goes off and he's like, oh, I'll like take you over here and they're making out, or we don't actually see that kill, but it's the same kind of thing. She was like, oh, this is where you work and stuff like that. And I don't know.
They're all explaining a bunch of like intricate
the
shit.
setting. Yeah, they were going on a tour of the
The
mine.
methane, the water.
I got kind of like lost in it too, like them. Like, oh, I'm going through a tour in this like mine, and this is what people really do. I don't know. It's interesting.
It is. It's and like that might be actually, now that we're talking about it, might be one of the strongest things about this movie, like in terms of adding that authenticity we've been talking about, because it's both. They have a reason to be talking about it, so it's not like unnecessary exposition for a kill later or something like that.
Yeah,
It's not just, it's not always in service to just the kills or anything like that. It's just like, oh, these things are happening as a result of, you know, these guys wanting to impress and fuck their girlfriends. So it all kind of like tracks really well, and it fits together in such a way and is informed enough to feel real and lived in. So I like that as well. The problem I have that I'm coming to right now is that something like, okay, like the reaction to the first heart in a fucking box that is found in this movie from the mayor and the fucking sheriff is to be like, "Well, we gotta cancel the dance," and he's like, "No, we don't want to cause a panic, make people think Harry's back." And all this shit. It's like, why not? Somebody died.
Yeah, the same thing with Mabel. Like, don't tell anybody. Tell her she had a heart
No, then
attack.
they
It's
did
like,
cancel. But yeah, exactly.
yeah, like what? No,
Yeah.
tell this town that there's a killer on the loose. You sons
So
of bitches.
So they're like not they're doing like dumb movie actions on some level while having really realistic movie setting. So it kind of
Yeah.
it comes at odds with each other a lot of the time
does.
to me. I think that's actually maybe pinpoint. I might be like distilling down what the weird juju of this movie was for me, because there was something I couldn't put my finger on.
Yeah,
I think maybe it's that it can't decide how realistic versus how heightened it wants to be. It goes from, Rust Belty, love triangle guy to Daffy Duck murder villain. Like it does shit like that, and it feels so disparate from each other that it doesn't quite like that authenticity feels squandered, or it feels like not unearned, but
Makes
like
it feel a little cheaper.
it feels like my
Yes.
return of investment in investing myself in this location and the setting is given back in Monopoly money. You know what I mean? Like it's like I didn't sign, like they can't tell whether or not they want me to sign up for a really like silly slasher or a really authentic, thriller of a situation. You know what I mean? I feel like there's just like a little bit of desperation there.
Yeah, I think you definitely, as the chief and the mayor of a town, would want to inform your people so that they can have their guards up, and that way
Yeah.
more people don't get murdered.
Or help you catch him, because even when they're like, oh, there's people down in the mine, they're like, just tell people the kids are stuck down there. It's like, motherfucker, no, tell the militia, because all these dudes, all these miners and stuff, when they all show up at the mines, they're all coming out. It's like, tell them to bring their damn weapons and their fucking pickaxes and shit. Like, let's go get this fucker. It's like, why would you send a bunch of people down into a mine where there's a killer, telling them that they're only going down there to rescue kids who are stuck in the mine? That's a totally different situation. Like, why would you do that?
I don't know, man. Yeah, the like it's very much like the mayor from Jaws, sort of like,
Yes.
which that's kind of different also though, because the mayor from Jaws is like, he has very clear motivation for doing that. For
Yeah.
us, the only motivation they have is stopping all killing. So how do you do that? Not by not telling people that there's a murderer around. Like you don't do
Especially
it that
when you
way.
plan to eventually cancel the dance anyways. I know it took Mabel's death to do that, but like they didn't even harp on that real hard. Like
The first body,
kill, like maybe
that should be it. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't think so. I think like the minute you see a like this is even specific to that particular killer. So like
Yeah,
even if
true,
it's
yeah.
somebody, even if it is, as it turns out to be a copycat, somebody's murdering fucks in a slashery way, it's time to let people know. And this is the first year they had the Valentine's dance in 20 years or whatever. So you got to think that for those 20 years, they were scared enough of this figure to not do any Valentine's shit. So what's
Also,
changed
that was
now?
a little bit of bullshit. This town is so dedicated and so afraid of this event that happened 20 years before, that something they kept for 100-year tradition, that they're able to say like, nope, we're not going to have a Valentine's Day dance. And the 1 year that they decide to do it, okay, so this is ingrained in at least this adult generation and like motivating what they do and choices they make for their town. They don't fucking check on the killer before they're like, you know what, let's go ahead and like set up this dance. It's like, maybe you should have like done your due diligence and be like, this fucker's still locked away, right? Before we all agree to like throw this dance 20 years later. Like, let's just go
in
ahead.
January, you should be on the phone saying,
Yeah,
hey,
let's
just
make
checking.
a call. Yeah, let's make a fucking
Could you keep an eye on
call
Harry?
first.
Because we're gonna do this thing and we're a little superstitious about it. It would make me feel better if you would let me know if anything weird happens with Harry.
Yeah.
And they could be like, oh, he died 3 months ago, actually, and be like, oh shit. Well, no worries then.
No
Harry-
one will be here.
They would just be like, "Oh, we've no record of any Harry Warden at all. We've no idea."
Yeah, but
what
then
you're
like within a
talking
day,
about."
they can get the information that he's also dead. So like,
Yeah.
if they had given themselves even a week advance to do that,
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, I agree.
Sure. But it is jarring in the movie when they do try and finally do some research as to where Harry Warden is, see if he's still locked up, see if he's still alive. Like nobody has any clue. Like, they
Yeah,
have
I
no
don't
answers.
fucking know.
at all.
Yeah, somebody who
No,
works
'cause-
there who's like, I have no fucking clue. Even if he died 5 years ago, like, what? This dude murdered people and cut their hearts out. That, like, you would know.
You'd remember.
You
that.
would
Somebody
know
would
that
write a
shit.
story about that in the fucking local rag.
Yeah.
Someone would warn you on your first day,
Also-
like, hey, don't go near that fucker. He cuts people's hearts out and he ate a bunch of people. Like,
This, yeah. This is like this is not a big gripe. This is just a little thing. But also, if you're scared enough to not have Valentine's dances because you think a serial killer is going to break out of a penitentiary and kill you, maybe rename your town from Valentine's Bluff. I don't know, man. How much fate are you willing to tempt? Because up until like they don't have these dances, they don't do Valentine's thing, and then year 20, they're like, we're doing it. Thank God we didn't change our names, or we didn't change the name of the fucking town. I don't know. That's a small thing, but the whole thing of him being a him being the MacGuffin, the thing that we think is happening is Harry. You know what I mean? It's really well telegraphed early that that's not the case. Specifically by the doctor that they go see in the adjacent town to like look at the heart that they find. The first heart that they get in a heart-shaped box. They have another like more mortuary guy or whatever looking it over. I don't know. Well, he was a doctor. He was
Science man.
No, yeah. What's the guy who the coroner?
Coroner, yeah. So the coroner's like, yeah, seems like you guys pretty clear got your answer. Must be Harry or some shit like that. Like pretty much blatantly saying, I was like, well, then there's no way that's the case. They wouldn't just tell us that and not show it. You know what I mean? Like, why would a slasher movie resist the urge to show a bunch of little vignettes of him, you know, killing people to get back into town, like Michael Myers? You know, like we don't see him like, you know, kill some trucker and steal his truck to get to town. We don't see anything like that because that doesn't exist. They're just trying to tell us, they're trying to hammer it in really, really hard that this is our guy. Don't worry about it. Don't think anything of it. You know?
Yeah. The mystery to me was never mysterious. Like it's not the draw.
No, it wasn't, but I think it's supposed to be. That's the problem.
Maybe, I mean, maybe, yeah. That's never been like my draw to this movie. It's more of like, I don't know, the atmosphere and just like being immersed in this small town and like watching these miners ham it up. And the inventiveness of the kills is really what kind of like pulls me into this movie. The whodunit aspect, which you only find out is a whodunit in the last like, I don't know, 5 minutes of the movie, isn't really much of a draw for me, I guess.
See, and that's the thing, is like it's not for me either, and neither is like the love triangle thing or whatever. But if you tie those two things together, they become justified, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So that not well enough for my taste.
That's a fair point. I mean, the majority of this movie is the love triangle, which is somewhat interesting. I mean, the characters are pretty douchey, but it's, I don't know, it's enough to get somewhat invested in the characters.
Yeah, I'm a little invested in it, but mostly I was invested in thinking that both these guys suck, and this girl should be fucking rid of both of them because they're both extremely predatory towards her.
Find out if Hollis has a brother, because he's probably pretty cool, and date him. That's what you should do.
Dude,
yeah.
Polyamory. Let's go.
Or that. Yeah. that mustache can definitely handle more than one significant other.
Yeah, that's a two-seater.
So he's got a wide upper lip, so there's plenty of room, ladies. That dude was in was it Porky's? He was in like some big comedy, yeah. But I don't know, it's kind of cool to see him not be the comedic relief, specifically because like he was in a lot of like comedic movies.
He's like one of the most competent people in a movie that actually doesn't have a shortage of competent people, you know? Somewhat in terms of like safety and shit like that. Like these people know what they're talking about the mines and shit anyway. They know how to get around. They know how to be safe about it to some extent, you know, and the people who don't, they look to the people that do, you know what I mean? Like that there's like a logic that comes from knowing what you're talking about the mining situation that really helps sell the value of these characters, because you're not spending time with them like equivocating this and that and trying to like trump up reasons for them to do this and this. There's a little bit of that, and there's certainly some warping, some killer warping going on. But aside from that, like I really think that does a great job of laying cover for these tripwires for you as a viewer, for you to like get the shocks, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think this movie does make pretty solid use of like the town, the setting. It makes up a lot of my enjoyment of the film. There's like a really cool scene in the very end where they're like, the killer is chasing our like remaining characters across this like mine car as it's in motion, which is a pretty cool sequence, I thought. And
really. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was neat. I wanted to take
back,
like a ride out of it at Universal or some shit. You know, let's do it.
Yeah.
See,
40 years later,
years
we're
later.
gonna do it.
Just it's a one way. It's just a
Perfect
track
time.
that goes a little bit into the earth and then comes back at the other side.
Yeah.
One drop and it's on brakes. No, I thought that like when they were fighting, when he was the big final battle or whatever on the train, I understand what they were trying to go for or whatever, and in concept again it's cool, but that's the one that really fell apart for me because the way they were fighting with the shovel and the pickaxe was very reminiscent of hobgoblins for me. And like they were just da 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 da, just like pushing sticks at each other's faces. That's it for a long time, and then
at each other.
yeah, just pushing the
other's
stems
faces.
of their individual tools into each other's faces, and then blocking it, and then blocking it, and then one would get knocked over a little bit, and then like there was a little bit power imbalance, but as a fight scene, as a tension magnet, it didn't work for me that well.
Yeah,
as much as I wanted to.
It was okay that he was moving towards them on like the little trolley. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't thrilling.
They
for
were
me,
also
but...
yeah, because it doesn't like. And the other thing is like that's a classic movie setup on an actual train.
Yeah,
so like
or
it's
something
almost like a
moving
downgrade
fast.
from the trope that we're building off of.
Yeah, because they get like she just hops out of it. You like
Yeah,
you
it's like
can walk.
it's going like 15 miles an hour.
It's for convenience. It's because the miners have to go down there every day. It's not fast. It's like you can walk faster than the trolley. So the fact that he would need to climb on the trolley to catch them is kind of stupid anyway. It's like just run next to it. It's fine.
Killers don't run. Jeez.
Yeah, the
Just
fact that
don't
like, yes,
do.
we got to the trolley. Now we can get out of here. It's like, just go for a light jog.
Yeah,
All right.
Not with that respirator on, man. You'd pass the fuck out.
Well,
that's true.
he would.
I don't know. It just like, and maybe that's why. Maybe it's because they were carrying so much extra bulk weight, but like they were also sluggish in fight. It wasn't even just the actual motions of the fight were like poorly choreographed. It also was that they were like really slow doing it, and so to me, it just kind of like, it's just like, okay, this is fine. Like it kind of was letting it happen. I was like, okay, the resolution's coming at least. So it wasn't so long as to be like completely outsized or anything like that. So that's good, but it didn't really do a lot for me.
Another thing that I enjoyed, which was kind of a small touch that helped build a little bit of tension, but like when the kids go down in the mine towards the end of the movie, they hear the bulbs being smashed by Axel with his pickaxe. Like as he's walking down the hall, he's just
like that too.
smashing all the bulbs, and they hear him coming. And as he's coming, the light is vanishing. I thought that was pretty dope as well.
I do too. My only like, I guess this is a note, not even really that much of a critique, but they show him like full body doing that. Excuse me, full body doing that.
Yeah.
And I almost wish they had just shown like a tight shot of the pickaxe breaking one of the bulbs and then just let them continue to pop. And then you hear that every so often throughout the time that they're down there. I think they could have spread that out a little better, I think. But I mean, that's a hindsight revelation more than
Mr.
a
Director
mistake.
over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever. But
Director Gaddis.
I don't know. I think that I like that again. Like the concepts of how the killer operates are usually pretty strong in this. It's just sometimes they don't really jive with the reality they've set up, nor does it sometimes jive with the reality of how the physical world works. So I don't know.
Do you guys have anything else you want to mention about My Bloody Valentine before we go ahead and rate it?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
10-4. Let's go ahead and do it. Juice, why don't you kick us off out of 5? How are you feeling about My Bloody Valentine?
I enjoyed watching this movie, and again, it had to like it actually like had to kind of impress me a little bit because I went in pretty meh on it, and I like a couple times found myself being like, I'm genuinely surprised at moments of how engaged I am and how interesting this is. And it really did. By the end, I was like, that movie really earned my respect. That's how I felt about it. It really did. And it's interesting though, because in a way this feels like a classic light in a way, to where I know of this film. I'd never seen it. I know it has a reputation, but I didn't know a whole lot about it. But in the same way, so I was really impressed when I watched it, and I'm going to give it props for that. But in the same way, I've had a very similar experience very recently, actually, where I had never seen Black Christmas, and I just saw it like maybe last year or something for the first time. A very similar kind of situation where I knew this film had a reputation. It was another like holiday film. And I saw it for the first time and was like completely blown away. Like, wow, this movie really does hold up 40 years later, whatever. That like really impressed me. Like, holy shit, that was really good. And this one, it did, but not to that extent. So like I kind of even remember that a little bit where I was like, okay, yeah, I know this has a reputation, never seen it. And like, oh, I was actually surprised and pleased with it, but it like didn't blow my load or anything. It was no Black Christmas in that kind of way. So I like the kills. I like the setting. I like most of the characters and their motivation that all felt authentic, except I thought the tie-in with Valentine's Day was the weakest part, honestly, especially because like this minor costume and the focus on the mine and the location, it was more about the location than the holiday for me. Like, yeah, these kids want to get together and they want to fuck and they want to throw a party. That literally could be anything. Even if they were throwing a President's Day party. Oh, we got a 3-day holiday. They always want to fuck.
Those are bangers.
Like, well, I'm just saying, like, it literally could have been anything. And if they wanted to focus more on the love triangle or make that more of a motivating factor, then maybe that would have saved it a little bit. But it didn't have any kind of specific or strong Valentine feels, which like I don't even know what that necessarily looks like anyways, because like I don't give a whole lot of shits about Valentine's Day. But just, I mean, making it a holiday film, I just felt like that aspect of it was actually one of the weakest. The weird motivations of like the sheriff of like, no, say Mabel had a heart attack and like, oh, call everybody to save the kids from mine. I was like, why? After all the like authentic decisions everybody else is making, it still kind of blows my mind that that was the direction they took for those situations. I don't know. So I'm conflicted about this a little bit. I'm going to give it a favorable score, but I am like dancing between a 3 and a 3.5. And really, I didn't care for the ending also too. The way that they just made him insane at the very end and showed that 3-second clip, even if it was supposed to be longer, it wasn't earned in my opinion, and it made the movie feel cheaper. So I think I'll go with a 3. I think I'll go with a 3. Yeah. But still, I did like it. And I was surprised by it, and it was good. It was a good movie. Bob?
Yeah.
My Bloody Valentine. Wait, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah. That's
yeah.
it.
Okay. What do you go out of 5? What you gonna give it?
I like this movie a little bit more than you do. I get that. I guess the connection of the killer in this town to Valentine's Day is a little loose, and for sure they're trying to cash in on the success of Halloween and Black Christmas. I mean, if this town had just not been called Valentine Bluffs, they wouldn't have had a Valentine's Day party, and those people wouldn't have left and like let their coworkers get murdered, and Harry Warden never would have eaten people. Like, it's all because the town just happened to be named Valentine Bluffs. Like, it's loose for sure. But that being said, I appreciate how like the killer sort of plays into the holiday with his kills, because the whole time he's murdering people, he's ripping their hearts out. We see a bunch, like 3 or 4 at least, like hearts ripped out of people. And he's sending them in heart-shaped boxes with like little letters in there with cutesy rhymes warning people that if they don't cancel the dance, there's going to be more deaths. Even when Mabel is pulled out of the dryer, the chief, I think, pulls his second Valentine out of her chest cavity where her actual heart should be. It's a little heart-shaped Valentine, and he reads it, and it's got a little creepy poem on it. I like that is like consistent throughout the movie. Axel, when he's a kid, you know, he sees his dad get his heart ripped out. So it's sort of like thematic in how the killer murders people, I guess. So I dig that. They decorate the shit out of the town. It's enough for me to get some enjoyment out of like the weird atmosphere of it. I think some of the characters are well written. Maybe like half of them are, but it's really just Hollis. Hollis is like the guy, you know, like Axel is kind of shitty, TJ is kind of shitty, Sarah is like, you know, why are you interested in these people? But Hollis is like a solid fucking dude. Anytime he's on screen, you're just like, yeah, I want to party with that dude. I want to drink beer in a junkyard with that fucking mustache right there. Um, I like the bartender. I like the chief. You know, there's a handful of decent characters here. All the kill sequences are like fairly memorable, pretty inventive. I don't know. I really get a kick out of all of that. Just in general, I dig this movie quite a bit, even though the ending is sort of like, ta-da! You know, it's not really explained. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it doesn't bother me much. I think I get enough out of the journey that I don't need an airtight ending to satisfy me. But I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5.
Damn.
Yeah, I like it. Randy, how you feel about My Bloody Valentine?
I feel like I'm more or less on the same wavelength as Justin on this one. The point that I would disagree on to some extent is the Valentine's Day things, because to me, like, yeah, I don't have a big like. There's not a lot to draw on for Valentine's Day, like I said earlier, and like Justin said, I'm not like crazy about Valentine's Day by any means. But if you're gonna have a movie called that, I feel like there should be just jam-packed with chintzy Valentine's Day shit as much as possible. And there was quite a bit of the mind thing. So yeah, this could have been a non-associated with a holiday sort of movie. And the parts that they did have, like Valentine's Day decorations and shit like that, the things that they did tie in, I thought were really good because they were like paper hearts or whatever. And like, that's the cheapest fucking production design you can imagine. You just have to buy like fucking Brock's candy and fucking little paper hearts, and they just flip the hearts upside down like a cross in The Exorcist and shit like that. Like do more of that, and I'm happy. You know what I mean? But you know, as it was, you know, I liked the movie that we got. I just don't know that was tied in quite as well, and I wish that it had either leaned a little bit more into that or had just dropped it altogether. So I don't know. To me, this I kind of gone over most of this, but the issue for me in this movie, the main one, is that there's like a disparate there's a divide between the like absolute realism and cognizance of mining as an industry and like the way that people interact in small towns and those sort of things, and then like the actions people are taking. And then on top of that, this whole like Harry Warden things is such a bad mislead and such a like by the numbers early 80s slasher movie motivation that I don't want it to be. I just don't want it to be there. I was thinking to myself earlier, like as a script doctor moment, I feel like the origin story for Harry Warden is itself pretty flawed, right? Like, so like he gets trapped in a mine, he ends up eating people or whatever because these two guys like jump off to go to the party or whatever, but he's not tied in with Valentine's Day. He is not tied in with Valentine's Day. There's no reason for him to be pissed at Valentine's Day after the fact, except that it was a Valentine's Day party. The way they could have pushed that a little more is if they gave him a character, right? Instead of just being the faceless, the killer, the crazy killer, they could have like spent a few moments saying like, okay, he was a hard-nosed foreman down in the mines with a crew that he was no nonsense and he was always, you know, on their asses, and they were trying to finish up their shift, and he was waiting to go see his girlfriend, his wife, whatever, who is his main squeeze, his love. He's dying to go see her for Valentine's Day dance, but he wants to get the job done first. So he's demanding that his workers stay there the whole time. And then two of them fuck off early, and then that causes the cave-in, their lack of due diligence. So he then comes back for revenge the following year, as he does in this movie, to kill those people. But then that gives him accelerated motivation for Valentine's Day, because like you have something happen to his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, or have her, you know, dating somebody else, and then that causes a resonance.
Dude who's dipped.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So like, something horrible's happened. Everything is ripped from him because of Valentine's Day and because of these workers. And then that bleeds into fucking Axel, and we spend a little more time getting to know him and his situation, and that adds a resonance and echo to the fact that he has a fucking love triangle, as well as becomes the murderer. So you have this. I don't know. To me, it feels like there's just not enough connective tissue between these concepts. And you know, like for a movie of this kind from this era, you could do a fuck ton worse. You could do a fuck ton worse. So it's tough to give it too much shit for it. But all that said, I think that this is a movie I look pretty favorably on. Like Justin, it's nowhere near Black Christmas for me. It's not good enough to be Black Christmas. It's not silly enough to be Silent Night, Deadly Night. So to me, it exists sort of in a nebulous, somewhat positive world. So I'm gonna give it a 3.
Cool. 3 from Randy. That's going to put our aggregate at a 3.3, repeating, of course. Let's go ahead and get into our Rotten Tomatoes.
333 looks like a bunch of little hearts, doesn't it, there,
Yeah,
boys?
It does.
Let's
Indeed.
multiply that by 2, though. What do you get?
I don't know. We'll
That's
never know.
off the chart.
Numerology.
Let's jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment, see what the critics and users think about My Bloody Valentine.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to ask these two gentlemen to guess between 0 and 100% what they think the critics and users gave this movie, or what percentage of people gave this a positive review. I always fuck up that introduction. I should write it down one day. Episode 305. So let's start with the critics review here, critics score. We'll start with Juice today. Juice, what do you think the critics gave this? There are only 24, by the way. Only 24 critic reviews here.
Critics are tough. I know where I'm leaning more on the audience, I think. But critics for this time period are tough. I'll go slightly positive with a 60.
60%. Bob, what do you feel?
I am going to roll. I'm going to $1 juice. 61, please.
$61 percentages. All right. Well, Bob, the $1 should have gone the other way. Juice is going to take this one.
Oh, hey!
This was a 54% from the critics, so not
not too far.
Not a certified fresh film. There were only 24, excuse me, like I said. Here is the critics. Oh, I'm sorry, there is no critics consensus. That's not what that says. I guess there's not enough reviews for that, which is not that surprising for a movie this old and obscure-ish. Obscure enough.
Yeah.
On the audience side of things, however, there are 5,000 plus ratings.
Okay, 5,000.
5,000 plus. Holy shit. Okay, Bob will if you say so. That's a fucked up for a movie of this scale. Like it just seems like a shit ton to me. Like this isn't fucking.
It's a
Avatar.
favorable sample size, though.
Yeah. It's definitely more than 24. All right, Bob, we'll start with you this time. What do you think that the users gave this film? What percentages is positive about this thing?
Can I have a 69, please?
Ah, damn it.
Ooh, fuck! I'm not ready for that.
69 dudes.
Thank you.
Now we're ready for that.
Damn it! He stole it away from me.
Soju, here's your chance. You want a $1 or you want to go for
No,
broke on
I'm
something?
gonna go for a real 96 is too high. Damn, Bob.
96. What?
Yeah, it's the only other close to 69 I could get.
Okay.
Or 20%.
Let's see, 69. I guess I'll go slightly. I'll just take my 60 again. I'll go 60.
60 percentile.
Elite
All
sweep.
right. Looks like Soju's gonna take it again.
Hell yeet sweep. Hell.
Yeah, I'm glad you got that out. Now
Yeah.
we had a 52% positive, so actually worse than the critics in this
Oh
case.
wow, that is
Yeah.
not what I was guessing. Oh wow, that's not what I
Me
thought.
neither. You think that this is a movie that has this is a cult movie, right? Like, so you think that the cult would comprise most of those reviews, I would think.
Yeah.
And that would be generally positive, but I guess
I would have
not.
guessed they would have fallen somewhere between me and Bob. Like
Me too. That's
64 or 65.
definitely what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm baffled.
Yeah, that seems really low.
What
What's
the
going
fuck?
on, Colt? What's
Yeah,
happening?
So I'm reading as we do. I'm gonna
Colt
I
McCoy,
pick it
what are you
random.
doing?
Mhm.
I'm gonna pick it random, a negative review to read because they're usually funnier. And the one that I picked, I read while you guys were talking, and it is weird. This person says, at least the film gets right into the killing, starting with the unlikely victim of an old lady. What?
No, is that person 9 years old? Like
What? That's not what. No, this,
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess they just forgot about the first
That-
kill because the old lady was the second one.
Yeah.
I guess, but like that's not, and that, but that's like several minutes into the movie too. That's
Yeah,
not
that's
getting
not
right
getting
to
right
it.
into
into
They
it.
do get right
20
into it,
minutes in.
but with like a 25-year-old
Yeah.
busty blonde chick.
That
like,
old bish.
that
I'm
old
6
haggard.
years old.
Now,
Battle
I will say though, that
God
she
damn.
wasn't old by any means, but this is an older film, and they had like definitely older styles, like the blue eyeshadow, just made people seem older to me, even though they're probably in their early 20s or supposed to be.
They might have been like early 30s or something even, but it's not like that's
no, they
like,
would. You would
unless
never
you
call
are
them
unless you are
old, yeah.
under 10. 30 is not like an old woman. You can
Yeah.
tell the difference between 60 and 30. I don't know. And this guy, there's a picture of this person, and he is not 5 years old, so I gotta think that he's just stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So that's our Rotten Tomatoes segment. Juice with the sweet for tonight. Hell neat.
Hell skeet.
Hell to the
Hell
neat.
eat sweet.
Well, okay. Well, let's go ahead and jump into some trivia.
It's totally time for trivia.
Maybe one of these days we'll get a Hell Yeet Sweet t-shirt. We'll see. All right.
I hope
praying.
not.
Keep praying. The gods of Yeet are not in your favor for that.
I don't know. We got a Yabos t-shirt. I was very pleased with that one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see. Go ahead and pray for that.
There was one there. So there's several stuff about the filming location, and they're all interesting. There was one in particular. I wanted to pick it out. Was it the first one? It was okay. So they chose this location in a real small mining community at Sydney Mines, Nova Scotia. It was chosen because of the rustic atmospheric appearance. However, when the locals found out that a movie was to be shot there, they decided to spend $50,000 to have the mine painted and cleaned. This, of course, diminished the reason that the production wanted the location to begin with.
Oh, no.
So they then spent another $75,000 of the film's budget to return the mine to its original state for shooting. Fuck. So $125,000 was spent for nothing. Oh my God.
That is a shame. I feel
Randy?
somebody's calling in for a voicemail right fucking now.
Someone is calling this show
I'm
for a
gonna
voicemail. We should have told people that we were filming tonight so they want to call us. Maybe we should pick it up.
No.
I denied him. I denied. We could, but that
Still
seems like a
ringing.
barrel.
Oh, I
less.
think we are all logged into our
Oh, mine's
email,
yeah.
so-
I hit.
But now
hit
it's
the
ringing
shut
on
off.
my end. I am also
Yeah.
logged into our email. That is hilarious. That's really funny. So this is something we didn't mention that I'm glad it showed up in trivia because I really wanted to mention it. Did you guys listen to that fucking song in the end credits?
Oh, yeah.
That she was cracking
The Ballad of
me
Harry
up.
Warden.
Yeah, it was like
I was not paying attention to it. I
It
guess.
was like an old Irish folk ballad. It was about this movie. This movie.
I'm gonna have to watch this movie again in the fucking full length, aren't I?
Do it.
Yeah,
Randy.
you are.
The folk ballad
Damn
that
it.
plays over the ending credits was added by composer Paul Zaza as an afterthought. The uncredited singer, the uncredited singer who does the vocal for the ballad was Scottish-Canadian tenor John McDermott. McDermott? Okay, so wait, who's Paul Zaza?
He wrote the music.
Oh, okay.
And
All
then we
right.
have this dude sing.
I gotcha. It was cracking me up though. It totally had like Warm Side of the Door feels, because
no, why did I miss this?
It was specifically like written for this movie, but it was like this Irish folk ballad. It was cracking me up.
I'm so upset that I missed this song. I must have shut it right off. I don't remember. But
there is a very famous director who has said that My Bloody Valentine is his all-time favorite slasher film. Let's see if you guys can guess who it is. Randy, who do you think said that this is their favorite slasher film of all time? Very famous director.
Very famous director. Okay,
Yeah.
can I ask you one question? You can tell me that you're not going to answer.
Ask me anything you want, Randy.
Here's my question. Is this like an A-list director, or is it a director that we would know from the horror genre specifically?
A-list director.
Okay. I am going... Fuck. I mean, my gut instinct was Eli Roth, but I don't think that's going to cut it. Because I think he's better known in the horror circles, so I'm thinking he wouldn't have categorized him that way. Favorite slasher? Let's go. I'm just gonna shoot for the moon here. I'm gonna go with Kubrick.
All right. Damn. Kubrick. Robert, who do you think said that this was their favorite slasher film of all time?
Can I take Steven Spielberg, please?
All right, Mr. Spielberg. You are both incorrect. The correct answer is Quentin Tarantino.
That makes sense. I was so close with Eli Roth. I should have just gone to Quentin.
Yeah.
Damn.
Nowhere in the film does it ever say what kind of mine this is. However, the general assumption for viewers is that it is a coal mine, as it was filmed in a coal mine kind of setting. I guess there's all kind of mines, huh? That would be scary to work in a methane mine. There was trivia. I'm having a hard time finding
No,
it
I think
now.
methane's in the earth. I don't think that they're mining.
They're not
No, I know. I'm sorry. I was
okay, all right.
doing two different things at once. Sorry.
It's important to me that you know that.
No, I was gonna say it's crazy about the methane, because the idea that you could just work in a, like, where you could just explode if somebody accidentally had a light on or forgot for a second, that shit is scary. Sorry, I was trying to find this trivia I was looking for, because it had something to do about the overall soundtrack of this, and I cannot find it, but it was like something
It's like never been released.
Yeah, it had like never, or like it just got released like a year ago or something crazy, and I was like, man, that's weird or shame.
I don't think it's that weird, to be honest, because like a lot of these smaller movies, this was a smaller movie, right? Like this wouldn't have been much bigger than like a Silent Night, Deadly Night or any of those. So yeah, I don't know how many of those actually got music releases, but at least to the public.
Yeah.
We do have other things to talk about, though.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
We have
trivia,
7
we'll wrap it up.
voicemails now.
Bob's cracking the whip. Are we gonna accept this one? We can.
I don't know,
accept
man.
it?
Probably not. I like to screen them because you never know.
Yeah, we'll hold it. Whoever just called in, we're holding you until next week.
You know what time it is. It's time to talk about Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why are we hunting them?
Thank you for asking, Bob. Cooter, something very important we need to talk about. A character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter. We want to know who is the cooter of the week with the highest points. The 5 points are smug arrogance, sexual deviance, manipulation, overall look and attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, who we taking to cooter court this week?
That's a good question.
I feel like there's some contenders here.
Yeah, there's a
I think there's definitely some cooter attributes going through. I don't know who's got the most of them, and I don't know that anybody's got a, game altering amount of them. You know, I don't know if there's enough convictions, but let's start. Why don't we? Can we start with like
the
TJ
obvious.
maybe?
Oh, okay, TJ.
What
All right.
was your obvious? That was the
Well,
obvious.
the killer
Axel?
was going to be my obvious. Who ends up
Okay,
being
let's start
Axel.
there. Let's start with Axel then.
All right, I will nominate him for. Oh shit! I don't know. Yeah, this might be difficult. Anybody else want to jump in? Huh? Axel?
Your segment,
he's-
bro. You're on your own.
I think he's manipulative because he is a psychopath, but like we've noted, he's keeping it together for the majority of the movie. But obviously, he's got some craziness going on, and he's like very clearly pretending to be Harry Warden throughout the majority of the movie. So he's manipulating, and I'd say that he's got a bit of an
He's
ego
following
line.
the MO. Yeah. Okay.
I think the smug arrogance is completely not absent in him because I think, but maybe that leaves room for the patheticness because he is very, very, like he's got that possessive streak, but he's also like an inferiority complex when it comes to TJ. When they have that little like harmonica heart to heart that Rob was talking about, you know, at the end of that, he's like, TJ's like, well, fine, I'm coming after her anyway because Moo and I both know she wants me.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like slinks away at that point. So like, I don't know, there might be a little patheticness there. Like if that's, I mean, that's just like, if he was not a killer, I don't know that I would count that as pathetic as much as just sort of like a bummer, but he kills people based on that, or I guess not, but he kills people in part because of this and factors in, I gotta think.
And I guess it is kind of clear,
pathetic.
like we said with the pub, the girl like goes over and like talks to this guy, like this dude could at least like be like, hey, like, what's the dealio? You know,
yeah,
like let's sort it out or something instead of just being a possessive little bitch about it.
I don't know. And the thing is, like, I think he approaches it pretty reasonably in that scene until you find out he's killing people, because his whole reaction is like, well, you know, you're back and I can't stop that from being the case.
That's reasonable. Yeah.
You're like, but I'm not going to let you hit on my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. So I think it's just a little pathetic that like that manifests in violent and Daffy Duck laughing tendencies. That shit, like him go like that last scene is way too much for me.
Also, he cuts his own arm off.
Hell yeah,
he cuts his own arm off. So that gives the look on a tire, maybe. I don't know.
No.
See, within the context of this movie, even the fucking like the minor outfit isn't looking attire, like isn't cootery, because everybody like that's
what everybody wears, and it's kind of badass, honestly.
Justin's got his new cosplay set up.
He might have like a 2.5 out of 5. I don't know that he's really gonna land.
Shit.
I think TJ is
more
better
of a gut
cooter.
check. I think so too. I think maybe because we know him better.
Yeah.
Let's do Tej then.
I think he's pretty damn pathetic because, like I already mentioned, the first half of this movie, he's just like a whiny little baby throwing a tantrum because he bailed on his chick and then she started seeing somebody else and he came back and like he didn't just immediately have her back. He's like, dude, you fucked yourself over here. Like, quit your bitching.
Yeah. Also, his dad puts him in his place.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not my fault that you went out to the West Coast and couldn't make it on your own. Like, if you're a man, like, you can do whatever you want. But if you're going to live with me and, like, come slinking back, you're working in the mine, bitch. And he like, bitches about it, like, to his boss, like, oh, I don't want to go do that. And he's like, bitch, go do your damn job. Like, I don't know. He gets told off by a bunch of, like, people of, like, higher authority and just kind of, you know, has to accept it.
What's interesting is like the whole thing is like his pride is wounded, right? But that manifests in the form of him being like, he left because he was smug enough to think that he was going to dust off this town and go be somebody in LA or some shit. But then he comes back with his tail between his legs, which makes him pretty pathetic. So right there, in kind of a 1-2 punch, you've got those.
And he kind of wants to be like top dog again, you know. He's kind of
he just wants to like slink right back where he was as if nothing happened. When you left your girlfriend high and dry, buddy, you can go fuck yourself as far as I'm concerned.
We don't get a lot of context there, but that's a lot of what's implied. Like he thinks he's better, you know, or like, you know, he wants this. It's fine, you know, oh, you want to escape the small town. Like that's fine. But like, you don't come back and start throwing your weight around. And
it seems like he feels owed, like respect and owed his old girlfriend.
He does.
Yeah.
Even when he's talking to Sarah one-on-one in that one scene they had together, he go to like their special spot or whatever. He's talking about like, you know, I made a lot of mistakes out there, Sarah. Made a lot of mistakes. And I think I learned something. But he never says what that something is. He just like, he just wants you to believe believe that he's wiser for his fuck up.
Yeah.
I don't know if he like fully ranks on like the sexual deviance, but he like
No.
basically kidnaps her, like forces her into his
She
vehicle.
says, I don't want to go with
Yeah.
you. I told you. And he's like, get in there.
He drives her out to like the beach or whatever, and they end up like making out. It doesn't seem like he totally forces her to make out, but like he forces her into his fucking car, that's for sure. So that's kind
Yeah.
of fucked up.
Forcing
wanted-
somebody. Yeah, that's fucked up.
I wanted to give him licking a tire for the old neckerchief.
The neckerchief! Fucking Freddy! Fucking Scooby Gang, get that
Like your
shit
hat.
out of
That shit
here.
was cracking me up, the old neckerchief. So
Yeah.
I
I
wanna give him
got me an
that.
ascot to prove that I went to LA and came back.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That shit was
cracking me up.
that might just be the style of the time. That might just be a grandpa.
Nobody
Simpson
else had
moment.
one though.
Yeah.
I mean, but like
Yeah.
it wasn't that popular at the time. But like like bell bottoms, not everybody wore bell bottoms either.
Yeah, so
They
I
existed.
think he hits on some smug arrogance, patheticness, looking a tire. I'm giving that for the neckerchief. And manipulation.
Yeah, maybe a little manipulation.
I think definitely manipulation.
Yeah, because he's
He's,
definitely
like,
playing with this girl's
scheming
feelings.
from the moment he came
doesn't.
back.
Yeah, he could let it go. You know, like he could just accept that. Yep, I left.
Yeah, that would
And-
be the
Yeah,
adult thing to do.
or you could at least have a scene. You don't have to like, I'm gonna take you out to our special spot, babe, and like croon to you about all my problems and like do this pity party thing and everything. You can just be like, hey, like I'm still into you. I realize I fucked up. You're with somebody else. But if that ever changes or you feel differently, you know, then
I
you
think
know,
he's got a few
yeah,
like he's
ish.
got like he's got patheticness and smug arrogance for me. I think he's got a low level of sexual deviance.
yeah.
If you want to give him a little bit of look in the tire, I won't argue with you on that. And I think he's definitely a low key manipulator who's trying to weasel his way
Yeah.
back into good graces with everybody and get back his old hunting ground, his old followers or whatever. So I think he's got 2 strong points and 3 low level points, which to me equates to a cooter. That's like
Yeah, he's cooter.
I
He's
think
cooter
that's
material.
at least that's equivalent to me of at least 3 marks
Yeah.
on the
He-
out of the 5.
He might still be a little light on the scale, but I think he ranks enough to
Yeah.
be a
Yeah.
cooter of the week. Yeah.
Book him,
Let's
boys.
Book his ass.
I can't believe he's more cooter than our actual killer, but that's
Mhm.
just
Yep.
what he gives
just-
us, you know?
He's more of a cooter than Daffy Duck, the mining serial killer. That's
Gracious.
pretty impressive, TJ. Congrats.
All right, book him.
We got him.
Booked.
Um,
We got him.
I'm thinking we skip what we've been watching this week since it's been 3 days since we last recorded, and
That's
probably,
fair,
Probably
yeah.
haven't seen much.
I actually don't know if I have anything.
Yeah.
I have one thing, and I can definitely talk about it next week.
Yeah, let's hold on to that since especially we got a shitload of voicemails to get to anyways.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump into our hotline scream.
Hotline scream.
If you are listening and would like to call in and leave a voicemail, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got a few people calling in, answering a few different prompts that we asked. I think we asked about what you like to get down with on your birthday. We asked about Valentine's Day stories, if you had any of those you'd like to share with us. A couple others I want to say. We asked about Toronto noodle soup, all kinds of shit. So we got a lot of people calling in and responding to all that. I think first up, we're going to hear from Jackie. Let's see what she has to say.
What up, boys? It's Jackie B calling from Chicago.
What the hell?
What up, boys? It's Jackie B calling from Chicago. And I'm just calling to share with you a really funny story about Valentine's Day. I notoriously hate Valentine's Day. For whatever reason, I feel like I always end up being single on Valentine's Day. But the few times that I have been with somebody on Valentine's Day, they've been pretty bad. And one particularly terrible Valentine's Day, I kind of went all out. I cooked dinner for this guy. I made a whole spectacle of it. lit candles, the whole 9 yards. And I am not a great, well, at the time I was vegetarian, and I tried cooking meat for this guy, and I ended up undercooking it because he got really, really, really violently sick shortly after he came over. So yeah, that's just one particularly bad one that comes to mind. The last Valentine's Day, it actually happens to be the last time I went to a concert. So yeah, the one I went to was like this really awesome, like, cosmic country showcase is what it was called. So that was pretty cool. Anyways, love the episode. Hope you guys are doing well and keep chilling. Peace out.
Anybody gonna get some tainted meats for Valentine's Day?
Damn, that sucks. That's like sitcom level right there.
It's the thought
That
that
is.
counts, Jackie. You cook
is.
that meat however long you want.
Well, I don't know about that.
That was
follow
risky
the
bus-
guidelines.
That was risky business in the
Yeah.
bedroom later that night. Whoa.
Would you have to like drag a trash can in there and just
Oh,
like throw it off to
Oh,
the
man.
side?
That's I don't know though. If that had worked out, I would have said that that's got to be a pretty strong relationship, because if you can gut through tainted meat, man, you must be in love.
It doesn't sound like he could have.
Tainted
No, it doesn't sound
meat.
like it. Yes.
Whoa. Maybe
Oh,
invest in a meat thermometer, Jackie. That might help you out.
Yeah. If anybody wants to help poor Jackie find a meat thermometer, I don't know if I guess she's not still a vegetarian, so maybe she's got her shit figured out or whatever.
Maybe.
But in the meantime,
Got
you
her
know,
shit figured out. Now
Whatever.
she's eating meat again. Yeah.
eating that meat, go get that protein.
Go get it.
Go get.
Rigatoni.
Thanks. Thanks for sharing your story, Jackie. Sounds like that dude couldn't hack it anyways. Get him out of here.
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
He ain't good enough for cosmic country.
Hell no. Couldn't handle it. Thanks for calling in. I think next up we're gonna hear from Seth. See what he has to say.
Hey, Straight Chillin' crew. I sent a really shitty voicemail just now. You can disregard that last one. This is Seth. I'm work for pest control in Northern California. I've never called in before, and I haven't joined the Slack, but I've been listening for a while, and I wanted to be your first pest control caller, and I decided I should probably get a call in before you guys get too big and these are left out. You guys are taking sponsors now. That's fantastic. I just wanted to say that I've been ordering the movies that you guys have the link to on Amazon because Bob has gotten me into collecting movies again, which is having a serious effect on my wallet. But that Synchronic Blu-ray, it came with no slipcover. So Bob, what's up with that? I know that's not your fault, but man, I really need those slipcovers. They look a lot better on the shelf. I just, what was the question this week? What I do on Valentine's Day? I don't really do much. I spend it with my girlfriend. It's still pretty much all closed down here in Northern California, so it ain't shit that we're going to be doing. But other than that, I don't have any crazy stories. I'm a very lonely man. I haven't had much interaction with people. You can't tell. But the birthday wish for kinks, I don't have a lot of kinks in the first place, and I usually don't wish for anything specific on my birthday. It's actually on Halloween, 1995. So I don't really request anything. The only thing I could think of in that circumstance is like a role-playing kind of thing, because you're already in costume. But I don't know. I just wanted to call and show my love for this podcast because it keeps me entertained throughout most of my services while I'm working. So thanks, guys. Keep it up. Get those sponsors. Get that money. Peace.
Hey, Bob.
Yo.
Tell me about slipcovers.
Hey, it sounds like Seth. Oh God! Damn it!
It is official. You are negatively affecting other people's
Whatever, man.
lives.
I
You
would
are
say.
stealing money.
Oh yeah, I'm getting paid. I would say Seth.
We
does
are.
have a
He's buying
kink.
from our Amazon link, which we
That's
get
true.
kickbacks for.
I haven't seen any of that.
Okay.
I would say Seth does have a kink, and it's a slipcover kink. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, boy. You get
I'm
slips.
sorry
Ooh,
about
a
that.
nice
slip,
slinky
that
slip cover.
That missing slip cover. I mean, we definitely don't
Ooh.
have anything to do with that, but that's
No.
unfortunate. If you're gonna do it, you gotta get that slip.
Yeah, I feel your pain, man. The slips
Damn.
do look nice on the shelf. So
Damn.
And it also isn't penetrating you. That's a bummer.
When I take a look, we're like given a limited, like Amazon gives us the link, so I'll try to like make sure it's
Also,
I don't know. That's all I can
thank
do.
you for
Sorry,
doing
guys.
that, by the way. That is really,
thank
really,
you. That's awesome.
That's really great of you to do that, by the way.
Yeah,
And thanks for listening and shit.
Yeah. Really appreciate you guys. Thanks for the love.
Thanks
It's
for
always good to know
killing-
that we're not completely ruining people's lives by doing this.
Only Bob.
Thanks for killing all those bugs in Northern California and keeping everybody pest free.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in, man. First time. Hopefully, it's not gonna be the last time we hear from you.
Yeah, give us a shout.
Next up, I believe we're gonna hear from Kristen. See what she has to say.
Hi, Straight Chilling crew. This is Kristen calling in from Canada. I had left a prior voicemail, but I completely screwed it up, so I'm going to try again. I just wanted to talk about the Peanut Butter Solution podcast that you guys did this week. I was so excited when I saw that you guys were covering this movie because I had absolutely no idea that anyone else knew what this movie was or had ever even heard about it. So I'm from Canada. I live in Toronto now. But when I was a kid, I lived in Brampton, which is like 30 minutes away from the city. And me and my brother used to rent this movie from a little library that I don't even know if it's open anymore. But we used to rent it every single weekend. Our dad would take us to the library, and me and my brother absolutely loved it. And honestly, as kids, we never thought it was weird. We never thought it was creepy or, we didn't see anything wrong with it, really. We kind of just watched it and, saw it for what it was. But I have rewatched it as an adult, and I can definitely say it is pretty disturbing. I never realized how messed up or odd or bizarre the storyline was. I kind of never cared about that as a kid. I kind of just focused on, the long hair and the weird paintbrush obsession that this guy had. And I haven't heard of any of the other movies that the producer made, but I definitely will be checking them out now that I know he made other movies. I honestly thought this was just like an offshoot or like an independent film or something that the library dug up from God knows where, but I really love this movie. I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I probably love it so much because I'm a weirdo myself, but I really love that you guys covered it and acknowledged it, and your podcast saves me from my horrible designer day job. And I just want to thank you guys so much for, getting me through my day and providing me with a lot of great podcasts and a lot of great movies. I am a horror fan myself, so when I get to work, I turn you guys on and the day seems to go faster. And I definitely will keep appreciating your podcast. And honestly, thank you for all you do. You guys make my entire day, and I definitely will keep listening to your podcast. See you later. Bye.
Wow, that was great.
Yeah, man, getting lots of love for Valentine's Day this week. Thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for calling in, Kristen.
So that's the Canadian children's perspective on that movie.
Yeah.
We reviewed last week, which I recommend that if you haven't listened to that yet, please do, because it is it's weird to even hear somebody talk about it unless you've seen it or have at least gotten introduced to it in some way. But it's interesting that like as a child she didn't see a problem with it, but as an adult, like all the creepiness like really shines through, because I've had opposite reactions to movies that kind of hit that mark for me, where like Return to Oz is my go-to, right? So that's one I saw as a kid that scared the bejesus out of me. And you know, you could chalk that up to being a kid or whatever, but then when I watched it as an adult I was like, oh well, yeah, of course it did. There's fucking severed heads and shit in this movie.
Yeah.
But
same thing with
so-
like
but
Dark
it's-
Crystal shit, where like when you're a kid,
Yeah.
like, why
Messed
is
me
it
up,
so fucked up? But then you're as an adult, you're like, it's kind of wacky. I mean, you get why you were scared, but
Gremlins terrified me as a child.
yeah, that makes sense.
well, you're a wuss, so
True. That is true.
You little shit.
Mm,
I'm just giving you a lot of shit today. But
yes. Yeah. It's not new. It's not a new thing.
well, I just started.
Right. Kristen, check out Christmas Martian next and let us know what you think about that. Thanks for calling in, and glad you're digging the show. Hopefully it's not last time we hear from you. Next up, we're going to hear from Brandon. See what he has to say.
Hey boys, it's Brandon again. You guys had asked or were wondering if I had ever watched The Christmas Martian growing up. I'd never heard of that movie. I've never seen it. Yeah, you guys, I'm the blank space for me. I grew up in a pretty religious household, so I don't know if that had something to do with it or it just never came out my way. So yeah, that's a blind spot for me. I'd never seen that. And also frickin' Juice is saying 8 episodes in a day. I might have to take that challenge up, boys. See if I can do it. I'll keep it posted. All right. Hell yeah!
Boys going for gold. All right.
Hell yeah, my guy.
I'm beginning to think that this Christmas Martian movie is like the Polybius of children's films, in that it's just an urban myth that somebody made up along the way, and that
the
it doesn't
director
really exist.
The producer could have been full of shit. He was like, in America, our big movie apparently is Peanut Butter Solution, but in Canada, the Christmas Martian was the biggest shit.
He was
We're
just
like, oh, okay.
What he didn't say is, I have stage 12 dementia.
He was pretty old. I'm not gonna lie. He was pretty old. I don't know. Maybe he's full of shit. Maybe nobody's ever seen that movie before. It might not even exist. We're not sure.
I'm trying to find it on IMDb and failing. There is a movie called A Martian Christmas from 2008.
It was in the cover that they showed was in French.
Yeah, it was.
So
what's the French
Canadian? You know.
Yeah. No,
what's
I know.
French
yeah.
for Martian?
Marchand.
Yeah, it was like
Marchand.
Okay.
Francais Marchand.
Spot on.
Perfect. I mean, it's like you're from Quebec.
I am indeed. Good luck with the 8 episodes in a day, Brandon. If you can do it, you're a better man than I am for sure. But thanks for calling in. I'm not gonna say thank you for the hell yeet. Never hell yeet again, please.
Always hell yeet.
Never.
Bob's just sour about all those hell yeet sweeps he's been getting.
Give me a hell skeet.
I'm gonna go with in Jackie's in honor of Jackie. I'm gonna give a hell meat.
That is hell meat. The meat that makes you vomit. That's hell meat. Right?
That's
on
hell
next
meat.
Hotline screen. Let us know if you wear
hell meat.
A hell yeet T-shirt from Straight Chillin'.
Just signing Randy up for work.
And especially if you want to design it for us, we have another designer here,
Right.
Kristen.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Kristen,
true.
you want to do my work for me, please?
Just recruiting everyone to just do our shit now, which is working apparently.
This is
He's starting to finally. The long con.
It's
306 episodes in.
time for us to
You guys just
start
wanna record
reaping
this
our reward.
podcast for me. You know, I'm real busy.
Just
these
say
days.
that your name is Soju. It'll work.
It's time for that passive income to become real passive.
Hell bleat. Am I right?
No.
We got 2 more voicemails. Next up, we're going to hear from Kelvin. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hello, guys. It's your boy Kelvin calling in once again. To answer Soju's question about that letter carrier that was delivering mail in the peanut butter solution. I don't let the mail fly away like that when the wind blows. I mean, I occasionally drop the mail in the snow, kind of ruining the letter, but I pick it back up. I don't leave it buried in the snow, or if the wind blows the mail away, I go and hurry to pick it up. Sometimes also little Amazon packages like to slip out of my hand sometimes, and I have to go chase them because that's people's stuff. And also, the letters that are flying away might be checks or bills. So, you know, I like giving people bills. I could care less about their checks. But, yeah, and birthday stuff, I kind of just like to get blown, you know? I mean, who doesn't? So, anyways, keep chilling, guys, and hell yeah. Bye.
Sometimes mail just gets blown, boys. Am I right?
Damn, I hope these ladies aren't making you wait till your birthday to get blown now. Good
Dude, Kelvin's got a stable of illegits. You know he does.
But hey, sounds like you're doing your job though. Way to deliver that mail, Kelvin.
Yeah.
Mail carrier, man. I'm loving getting all these updates from people's like jobs. If you work in like a blue collar job or whatever, call in. Let us know. Tell us how that factors into your horror movie fandom.
Actually, anybody. If you're like a nurse and you pull crazy shit out of people's butts all day, let us know.
All day. That's what you do all day long. All day, every
saying.
day. I'm a butt nurse.
I'm a butt. I work in the red light district, so you know.
You got something in your butt, I'll get it out. Guaranteed.
The butt special.
Rigatoni.
No butt's too tight for the butt nurse.
Got a little rigatoni up there. I need you to get in there.
Ooh, you found my rigatoni from last night.
Is it still good?
Gonna need you to crawl up in there and pull out some rigatoni.
Don't ask questions.
Oh. Well, thanks for
yeah.
calling in, Kelvin.
Thanks, Kelvin.
May you have a merry birthday, and thanks for delivering that mail. Next up, last up, we got one more voicemail. We're going to hear from Caitlin. See what she has to say.
Hi, this is Caitlin calling from Ontario, Canada, in regards to your last episode, The Peanut Butter Solution. I first saw this film on television while channel surfing at my grandma's when I was about 6 years old, early 90s. And I was completely glued to the screen. I had missed the first 10 minutes and title card, so I had no idea what the heck was happening or what this nightmare was called. So over the years, the famous memories and images of this film would hit me, and I had no idea what it was or if it actually happened. It truly felt like a fever dream, and I've never met anyone else who has ever heard of it or had any idea what I was talking about. So years ago, I went on the Tip of My Tongue subreddit and put together a brief description of what I could piece together. You know, kids being kidnapped with pube paintbrushes. Someone solved it within 2 minutes, and I've gone to discover a growing fan base of similar people who experience this universal nightmare. I wanted to thank you guys for a great podcast, which I discovered about a year ago. You've been getting me through quarantine, so keep on keeping on. Thanks. Bye.
Caitlin, thanks for that. So we have the opposite end of the spectrum here. We have somebody who was traumatized as a child by this film.
Yeah. Man, a lot of great calls this week.
Yeah.
Canadians and everybody repping well.
Californians
and mail carriers. That's a state, right? Yeah, it's interesting.
A state of mind.
It is.
Apparently.
Yeah. I'm a mail carrier now. I'm sorry, honey. I have to leave you. I'm a mail carrier now.
No letter left behind.
My wife is the mail now. I don't know. I love that this is like, it's such a nightmare for some people, but for others, it's like, I've had these things. It's like, this movie is not the Polybius of children's programming. This is the Candle Cove of reality. This is like one of those hidden fucking things that people are just now becoming aware was actually real. And I definitely had shows like that as a kid. Like there was, in particular, I remember being a kid and vividly remember some weird, creepy ass claymation commercial would come on Nickelodeon like once a day, and it would play like this really haunting like dollhouse tune or whatever, and I would run the fuck out of the room until it was over. I am still to this day have no idea what that was. But yeah, that sort of shit really affects you as a kid, man. It's that distant memory is almost more terrifying than anything in my regular life.
I am surprised at how many people called in or just contacted us online saying that like they remember seeing this when they were real little and it scared them in some way, and they never found anybody else that ever knew about it. But like clearly there's a lot of people that were affected by this movie, and it's something that I had never heard about until this year. Is totally off my radar. But thanks for weighing in, everybody, and sharing your experiences with this. Because none of us grew up watching this, but it's cool to find out that a lot of people did, and it fucked you up.
Now, get your hands on the Polybius of children's programming, which is Christmas Martian. Let us know if you find a copy. Yeah. Send us a copy. I want to get my eyes on this bad boy.
Maybe that'll be another Patreon pick later. Maybe next Christmas.
Yeah, if we
can
find it.
Is this a lost media deal? Yeah, I don't know. If we can find it, if it's not lost to the sands of time, then we should.
I mean, Bob's. We can at least like freeze frame the interview that guy was giving, because they give the cover.
Yeah, they show the poster, the advertisements and all that shit.
Yeah, we could do that. We're on the hunt now.
Uh-oh, now we gotta do it.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for calling, everybody. Do you guys have any other prompts you want to pose for next week's hotline screen?
I don't know. I kind of just want to know more about what people's jobs are that are listening to us, and because a lot of people this is true of most podcasts. I feel like there's a lot of, I don't feel like, I know that most people tend to listen to us and listen to podcasts in general, as part of their work
job,
or on their commute. Yeah. So I want to know what you're doing while you're listening to us flap our bullshitty gums here.
Yeah, I'm curious too. What are you doing with us in your ear holes? I want to put those two things
together. As filthy as possible.
Wow. If you're a butt nurse, please call in.
If you're unplugging butts while listening to this right now, let us know.
Hold on, got to get my butt plunger out, and I can make the call.
Damn.
Anyway, yeah, I want to hear more about that shit. Tell us more. And also, if you have childhood trauma from a show you can't remember, call and describe it to us, and we'll see if we can help you out.
Also, if you want to sign up for free work, Straight Chilling.
Yeah.
Call it.
If you want to be exploited by your favorite podcasters, give us a call.
Oh, my lord.
Yeah. Call in, leave us a voicemail, 904-638-3231. We'll play it on our next show. That's it for us this week. We're going to be back next week with a new show. As always, we're going to be talking about a new release of 2021. We're going to be discussing Saint Maud. So slam your eyeballs into that. It is in some select theaters. However, if you don't want to venture out to the theater to watch it, you can watch it on Epix, EPIX. As far as I understand, that is an app that you can throw onto whatever smart device you have,
a streaming service,
smart TV. Yeah, it's a streaming service. So
it was also on YouTube. Is it still up there?
I don't know. Yeah, somebody put an HD rip on YouTube.
Yeah, check that out. Because I kind of want to watch it again.
And it might still be on YouTube. So check that out. Maybe you can find it on YouTube. If not, it's on Epix. So check that out. Get ready for next week's show, Saint Maud. Until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at STR8_chilling. Hit us up on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. Send us an email through our website, straightchillingpodcast.com. If you do want to join us on the daily Slack channel Conversations, just hit us up on one of those social media outlets, and I'll send you a link to join in on the fun. That's going to do it for us. Until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Ha ha!